Hello everyone, I'm Mark Fraser with the Golf Expos. Happy New Year to you all. Last fall we announced the online Golf Expos for Quebec that was going to replace our regular Golf Expos, so we're going with a virtual model. And in the fall we had announced a few details on how you as an exhibitor were going to benefit from the Golf Expos. So we talked about some online content being delivered through social media channels. We talked about a Shopify account that was going to be put together where visitors could go and put everything in one basket and be able to complete their transactions for all their purchases at the Golf Expo. So buying from you as exhibitors in one transaction. So that part of the puzzle was very clear from the beginning in fall. What was a little more difficult to grasp and why we've continued our evolution and brainstorming activities after we announced the Golf Expos in the fall, the online Golf Expos, was the part where we were giving content to the visitors, number one, and two, how to create a bridge for you as exhibitors to talk directly to the visitors. So the original idea is we were going to broadcast content, Golf Expo content, through social media channels. Now, where it has limitations is we cannot control that environment. So if we were doing something that had music in the background that the algorithms thought was proprietary, and we didn't have the usage rights, we could lose our broadcasting capabilities. The other thing is we could not really see who was actually using, who was actually on the social media channels at what time, and all that information that would be very helpful for you as exhibitors. So where we have ended up is with a decision that was made that is going to affect you financially. So there is a small increase in the cost of this new platform we've decided to use, but the benefits for you as an exhibitor far outweigh any of the costs that are going to be involved. And I want to explain that to you, and that's why I'm doing this by video, is to be as clear as possible so you understand what direction we're going in. And the decision we made was to choose the most professional platform that would allow us to build that bridge between you and the visitors and to control the content that was being delivered. So the platform that we're going to use is based on Amazon Web Services. So it uses a platform that is robust, that is not going to crash no matter how many people we have visiting the Golf Expo online. That's number one. Number two is visitors will have to register to come to the Golf Expo. Now, they will still be admitted free, which is going to allow us to get as many visitors to the show as possible because there's no barriers there, but they will need to register with some information, and they will receive a unique link, and that link is going to allow them into the platform. So this platform is controlled by us. They arrive into a hall, which you could think of physically as a conference hall reception room. They click on an image that takes them to a virtual floor plan. And in this virtual floor plan, they can click on the booths and end up in your booth. So here is where it gets much better and much more sophisticated than our original plan. Our original plan had a virtual floor plan, click on it, and it would take the visitor to the Shopify account. And there we had some information on Shopify, and the customer could do their transactions. Now they're actually showing up in a virtual booth where you as an exhibitor can set up a camera like I'm doing right now, and you can do it yourself. You can do it through staff. You can set up hours of work hours for your staff. And there's this virtual booth actually has a table. If you want to imagine yourself at a 9-person table, you're the 9th person. You have people sitting around you, and they show up and they come and they go. But they're actually speaking to you live on camera or chatting with you. So you're actually having a real interaction with the visitors. Now is your time to answer questions, and then you can upsell and all those things that you would do live at the show. So we're giving you that bridge now to be able to speak to the customer directly. So when they get into your virtual booth, you have some images, you have some links, and you have this virtual table that people will be able to sit at, or they can just chat with you if they don't feel comfortable being on a camera, and you will be able to control that environment as you would at the show. Huge improvement. The other part of this is the data component. Now, when we're working on social media, we're using data that's based on times and algorithms that belong to Facebook or YouTube. Now we're actually using a closed environment, so we can actually track each visitor where they go on the show floor. So we can track from the moment they register, log into the show, click on a booth, how much time they spend at each exhibitor's booth, what they do when they're there, the links that they click on. So this information is going to be very good for you, and it's vital to decision making in the future. So here's the example. If you have 10,000 people show up at your booth, so they visit your booth, of those 10,000 people, 100 decide to interact with you and then go to your Shopify account and look at the products you're selling. Now, of those 100, 5 people actually complete transactions. That is going to be that, knowing that 10,000 people visited you, that 100 actually went to your Shopify account, but only 5 purchased. It's going to give you data to be able to understand what went wrong, because your conversion rate is very, very low. So 10,000 people visit you, it means that you have a product that people are interested in. If only 100 are actually speaking to you or visiting the online store, that means that there's a break in the communications, because of those 10,000 people, there's not enough people that are interested in actually proceeding and buying your product. There's a flip side to that. If you have 10,000 people that visit your booth, 5,000 click on your Shopify account or interact with you, and you have 4,000 people that actually buy your product, you may be selling too low. So at a price that is just too, that doesn't benefit you, it only benefits the visitor. So those are things that we can track and give you a report when the show is done based on the footprint of each of those visitors. Now, that's great for future business and analyzing how you're going to work with the Golf Expos or any selling moving forward. But there's also another component which I think is the most important of all of this, and the only reason, if there's only one reason, but there's many, but if there's only one reason to choose with going with a closed platform for an additional price to you as an exhibitor and to us as organizers, we are paying a hefty price to use this as well, but is the data collection. So when people register for the as visitors, we have 2 questions that we ask them. In addition to their personal information, we ask them, do you agree to share, or do you agree to receive emails from the Golf Expo and its sponsors? Yes, no. And do you agree to receive email communications from the exhibitors you visited during the Golf Expo? When they agree to this, and I'm not going to say that everybody's going to agree to this, but the people that agree to allow us to share their email address with you, the exhibitor, that now becomes your database. So everyone that registers has the option to opt in or opt out in these email communications. When the show is done, we're going to go and look at every visitor that came to the show. We're going to create reports on who they visited. And once we see who they visited, we can determine also if they opted in or opted out. Everyone that gave us permission and visited your booth, we are going to give that database to you. And then from that moment on, you can communicate with them. Now, what I recommend that you do is that you send out an initial email to all those people saying, thank you for visiting us at the Golf Expo. We hope that you found what you were looking for. We'd also like to invite you to sign up for our regular database or newsletter to stay informed of upcoming specials, etc., etc. So you're getting a true opt-in action, because right now we have the ability to send that email to the customer, but if you bombard them with sales from the get-go, you may lose them and they can unsubscribe. They have that ability and they have that right. So that's the way I would use that database. But right now, if we only went with our previous decision of going through social media, we would not be able to collect that database. And this is where it's extremely important for you, is the more you build your database, the more control you have over the marketing efforts you're making to them. So to recap, we will still be using the Shopify account where the visitors will be able to buy and do all of the transactions with you as an exhibitor. But this new component of being able to collect data and share it with you and create a bridge between the exhibitor and yourself is what really is going to make the difference with this Golf Expo. By doing a closed circuit professional program, we can really control our environment as we would do live at the Golf Expos. So the increase in rate is $375 more than what we originally announced. That $375 is the entire amount that the platform is costing us for each exhibitor. So we are not making money on this. There's no margins whatsoever. We are just trying to make sure that we have the right tool for you, but also be able to provide us as expo exhibitor, expo organizers, the ability to pull all of this off. Now, there is a cost on behalf of the organization, which is in the multiple thousands of dollars as well, but we judged it was a right call to be able to deliver the proper experience. So it is a little bit more than we originally announced, but it is a lot less than if we were doing Golf Expo Live, proper Golf Expos. And at the same time, we're delivering more than what we would if the live Golf Expos were actually happening, if that makes sense to you, because now we have database collection and some hard data that we can share with you. So I wanted to be upfront with you about this. I wanted to tell you in my own words to explain it as best I could. Now, I will be creating a second video like I did last time, where I'm going to walk you through the process for this new platform. So it's going to have when you show up as a visitor and what you're going to do as an exhibitor in your dashboard, in your backend, where the information you can put on there, the images you can put on there to create your booth, because now you actually have a virtual booth. We have used a program or a platform similar in the past for our national conference, and there's other entities that are using very similar platforms across the world right now in virtual experiences. And the one we're using is based here in Quebec, designed and built by Quebecers in the audio-visual and the technology space. So it's robust, we're supporting local, and we're using a platform that is going to be great for you as exhibitors and for the visitor. So thank you for listening. I do wish that if you have any questions, any concerns, you reach out to me. Don't hesitate in asking all the questions that may be unclear. That's what I'm here for, and I can help you walk through all the steps. So thank you for listening, and I hope to see you at the Golf Expo.